Hey, it's Happy, and today we're going to learn how to use the chart on the front of your How to Write a Happy Song book to write a song in case you did not get it or you do not have the book. So, let's get started. This is what your paper should look like before you write any song. You see how it looks similar to this? Except, unless you have all these colored pencils, you're not going to be able to get all these colors represented unless you add these subtitles, I guess. And then, if you look at the page where it says, this is the order in which you read my spectrum, that's the order, you'll see that white comes first, then red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, then black, which is the opposite of white, then clear, which is can be anything, then gray, which is the sum of all of them. So, if you look right here, the structure of the chart, orange is what the red and the yellow have in common. Green is what the blue and the yellow have in common. Violet, white is the whole inner spectrum. You have white, which is the inner spectrum. Then you have black, which is none of these, but still related to the spectrum and is anti-spectrum. Then you have clear, which is not a part of this at all whatsoever. Then you have gray, which is the sum of all of them. The reason why you have these numbers here is because you're going to erase this and draw a new chart, and everything's going to be in a different position, but these numbers will always mean these colors. So how do you use this to write a song? Well, remember, you start with red. That's the first page of the book. Start with red. Red is what you have already. And so if we come right over here where red is, so starting with what I've got, I'm distracted because I missed somebody. So instead of writing all those words, we're going to get it down to 2 or 1 word. And we'll say, missing you. I say you instead of him because I want to get rid of all the pronouns, personal pronouns, except for me and you, and maybe they, if it's super important to include somebody else. But try to get it down to just me and you. Missing you. That's where I'm starting at. So now that I wrote it on my red right there, I need to write it down on my red right here. Missing you. Why is it important to write it right here? So we can visually understand how to fill in the rest of these numbers. So first you start with red, then the easiest thing to jump to is blue. So once you're finished with missing you, what is the state that you will be in when you're finished with it? That's how you get to blue. So once I'm done missing you, I'm going to have you back, right? So we're going to say getting you back. Now, I usually say 3 words or less, but you see how much space that takes up? I like it 2 words or less, but 3 if uber necessary. So getting you back, right? So now we know that this, see on over here on the numbers, the next one we're going to work on is right there. It doesn't look like it's about to be the combination of missing you and getting you back, right? The common goal between them is your violet now, and your violet is down here. So that's the important part about the chart, is it graphically lets you know what's opposite, what's similar. So my thing is, what does missing you and getting you back have in common? I'm going to say loving you. Loving you. Yeah. So now the next thing that you have half of your inner spectrum, you have the dark side. Now let's go on over to the light side. What's the opposite of loving you? Well, I don't want to say hating you. So let me think about in my actual brain space in this spectrum, what is the opposite of loving you? I'm going to say trying to replace you. So replacing you with someone else, replacing. And that's your four over here. See how it's not all the way intuitive when it's just in one straight line? Eventually, you'll be able to just only write the numbers and ignore the chart. But for right now, the chart is explaining why the numbers mean what they mean. Boom. The next easiest thing is your orange or your green. Um, I usually try to do the green last in this inner spectrum just because it's your hook, but that's the next step. But the hook is the most important part of the song. So let's go with orange, missing you or replacing you. This is what you know about what you have. So replacing you and missing you mixed together. What I know about that, we're going to say is trying to talk to other people like they're you. And that summed up in one word is called transference. In case you didn't know that, it's your $10 word of the day. Transference. I'm just going to write that right there. Transference. Boom. That's your number 3. Got your orange. Okay. Cool. Now that we have all of that, we're getting to the green. And the green is the element that's going to take you to what you want or bring what you want to you. So it's also what replacing you and getting you back have in common. I'm going to say winning you. I got to win you over. Winning. That's your number 5. And they all have you in common. But I'm going to elaborate a little bit more. So, in order to find the white, what you're going to have to do is find what these opposites have in common with each other. Usually, you'll do good with just looking at what red and green have in common, but it might be a little bit too difficult. And to double check to make sure that your white is fitting all of your themes, you also want to check, does it have orange and blue in common, or what yellow and violet have in common, right? So in this particular case, winning you back and missing you, what they have in common is having to work for you. So I'm going to put work for you. Working, because we want to keep it parallel, right? Everything else has an ing on the end, so that's the tense that we're using to our verbs. All right. So now it's starting to get a little bit more intuitive, right? Right? See where it's going. Now you want to take the opposite within, this idea of working for you. And I'm going to say working for me. Working for Boom, there it is right there. Cool. So now we need to find out what working for you and working for me have in common. Obviously work, but we're gonna elaborate a little bit more, make it more creative, because we already used that too many times. So instead of it being the next number right here, it's gonna be gray, right? Ain't that what black and white have in common? So what working for you and working for me, I think, have in common is working for marriage, working for us. Mm. See how you can play around with the words? And fill it in your chart. Working for marriage. Working. Note where I put the gray on the outside of all the circles. That means that is the biggest theme here. The most general theme here is I'm working for marriage. Alright, and the very last one we're going to fill in is your clear, right? And that's going to be what? Working for me and working for marriage, what they have in common. Okay? Once again, we're not going to use work. We're going to try to combine working for me and, we're going to try to combine me and marriage, right? And what I want out the marriage is the honeymoon stage. So we're going to write honeymoon. Honeymoon. All right. So now that we have all of these filled in, we're going to erase this chart right here because this is really what we were after. All right. So now that we have the other chart filled in, we're going to take the perspective pyramid, that will be this one right here, and fill it in with these right here. Green goes at the top, get you a book so you can see the order. But I usually let you guys see it on the previews of the book, and there's an audio book on there too. So as you can see, boop, the reason why I chose this order is because this way, you being the eye, like, see it? This is the order in which people take in light. They perceive light. People are more responsive to green first. The green is the spectrum leader here. And this is how it lays itself out. So you fill in your chart. Your green is at the top. That's your hook, right? So now we're back to the pyramid. It says hook, verse 1, part 1, verse 1, part 2, blah, 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 blah. So now we have our subject content, and then this is the song structure, of course. You have your hook, you have your first verse, you have your hook again, then you have your second verse. That's why your hook is so important, because it's the most chanted thing in the song, and it's simple. Your bridge right before your new hook, or your hook again. Ta-da! Alright, so we are gonna go into writing my song. Now, first thing about the hook is that it's super important to decide which voice represents your biggest target market for the song. You want to know who is singing your song and what do they like to say and why do they want to say your hook. Keep your clients or placement desires in mind when choosing the most agreeable and easily identifiable phrase that will glue together your song. Like I said, people will be chanting this over and over and over again. So what do you want your people to be saying? So without further ado, we're going to go into the song that we just wrote. So our green was winning you back, right? Our hook. So what I want about green winning you. I'm trying to win your heart like it's Monopoly. Let me be your first wife. Say yes, ain't no dropping me. I'm trying to win your heart like it's Monopoly. Let me be your first wife. Say yes, ain't no dropping me. So simple, repeatable, chantable, and you can take the last two lines of it. Let me be your first wife. Say yes, ain't no dropping me. Say yes, ain't no dropping me. Say yes, ain't no dropping me. I mean, you can echo it as many times as you want to, and it still stands alone as a nice hook. All right. So now our yellow is gonna have to be twice as long as our hook, unless you just have a long hook. So our yellow, yellow like me, yellow like this, Manila yellow. We're gonna say for our first one, part one, about replacing you. My biggest regret is that I couldn't wait. You were too busy, my love was too late. I wanted all of you, it was more than you could afford. So I pretended not to care and changed what I was looking for. That's my verse, or that's my section on replacing you. Um, Now we gotta get you back, right? That was our blue, getting you back. But I'm prioritizing what I want from what I need, and I see you resurfacing because you belong with me. I want to free your dreams. I want to bring you joy. I know that it scares you, but I want to have your boy. So that's what I have about blue, getting you back. Um, Orange, that's what's next. That's your verse one, part three. That was about transference. What I said was, I'm thankful for the distance. It's the only thing wrong. Now, when we get face to face, we'll be that much stronger. Yeah, I've been beeping, distracted every time, trying to find enough of you to quench my thirsty mind. That's about transference, talking to people like they're you. All right. Now we have the gray. The gray, right? This was about marriage, and this will conclude our first verse. I was looking for my one, and some others came close, but I haven't found no one like you, so I always go ghost. Tried to do you that same way, it didn't work out in my brain. I saw a king, I saw a ring, and my heart's never been the same. So now we're starting on our verse two. Remember the song structure? We started with yellow. We started with the yellow for our verse one, and we start on purple for our verse two. Now, in between there, we're going to have another hook, but we already know what the hook is. So for the sake of time, we're just going to skip to verse two. Purple. What I have for your verse two, part one, is about loving on you. I remember how it used to be. I saw the potential. I wasn't mature enough to match up with your mental. You must have got bored of me, so I said goodbye. But that was a lie because the other guy knew your name more than mine. So that's purple. We have red right here. This is about missing you. Missing you. He wanted to steal your girl. He didn't want my mind. You read every word I wrote and shot me back aside. I'm thankful for the trial run, but now I'm ready for some fun. 'Cause May is sooner than you think, and 2020's deal is done. Those who know what that means know what that means. All right. Now you have the white working for you. Okay. So this is what I have under working for you. I put it all together for you. You're my inspiration. I'm so motivated by the way you talk vibrations. I love the way you work. I love the way you play. And I'm going to win the Bachelor if you really want to play these games. All right. So Then you have the clear, verse 2, part 4. And this is what I had about a honeymoon. Let's honeymoon in India. Let's ride on an elephant. Let's picnic on the Taj Mahal and gaze at its elegance. Life's too short to fear a wife, and I'm not even jealous. Shoot, I am. Bye, beep. Beep them, I could care less. That was the PG-13 version. Alright. Then you have the bridge. The final one before the last hook. You have the bridge, and that is black, right? I do for me what I think is best, then I look who's around. I see, then I believe, not the other way around. So that is going to be about the same length as the hook. It can be chanted as well right before right before the final hook. So now you have a completed song. We didn't choose instrumental this time, but that's for another video. I just wanted to show you how to use this chart right here to write the lyrics to your song. Because then the next step is to choose the melody. But that's for our next video. All right, y'all have a great day.